Hi guys, my name is Graham, I'm a Senior Officer at Arts Council England, and in this video I'm going to talk in a little bit more detail about our Emergency Response Fund for individuals, which is there to help creative freelancers in England whose work is directly affected by coronavirus. So if you're a choreographer, a writer, translator, producer, editor, creative educator, composer, director, designer, all these kinds of things, craft makers, curators, who works freelance, then this fund could be for you. It's all about giving you the time and the money that you need to stabilise financially and to start to get ready to be working again. Now, our funds are limited, so please don't apply for things that you can get from elsewhere, so money that could be covered by the government funding that's already been announced. We want this money to go as far as is possible, and we want it to reach those who really need it, so think first before we put in an application. Now, we can make grants of up to £2,500 or £3,000 if you have a disability or experience another barrier. So there's an extra £500 if you have costs relating to that. To apply, you must be aged 18 or over and live in England, and you must have made or delivered work that was funded by public money in one or more of our supported art forms and disciplines. So those are combined arts, dance, libraries, literature, museums, music, theatre and visual arts. I think that's 8. So when we say funded by public money, this might be from the Arts Council, it might be from other lottery funders like National Lottery Heritage Fund, it might be from universities, local authorities or the kind of public trusts and foundations. You don't have to have been given a grant yourself, but you might have worked on a project where someone else has given the grant and they've paid you, or you've worked on the project, and that's fine too. Finally, at least half your normal income needs to come from your freelance work. So for example, if half your income is paid kind of pay as you earn, PAYE, by, it could be an arts organisation like a theatre or a museum, or it could be, it could be through any other jobs you have. If you work in hospitality, you work in an office, something like that. If more than half your income's from those, then this isn't the fund for you. You can use the money to cover lost earnings from cancelled or curtailed, kind of been shortened or postponed shows, workshops or any other work that you were going to do. So things that you might have been contracted for or that you had lined up to do. You can use it for equipment or software and licenses to help you do your job from home, as well as time to work on what you do. You might use this opportunity to practice techniques or to make new work or do some research, and that's fine too. There are some things we can't fund. So creative activities, things that we'd normally fund through project grants. So if you had like a tour that you had lined up for project grants, or an R&D project, or something that you had a project grants application for, a DYCP application for, this isn't really intended to cover that. We've kind of rechanneled our funding to help support people during this time. So it's not really for a project, it's more about that time and money you need to kind of stabilise and get back on your feet and get ready to start working again. We can't fund higher education tuition fees and associated costs as per usual, and organisations can't apply for this individuals fund. If you have an organisation, we have a separate fund for that, and check that out on our website. We know that our funding for creative practitioners won't cover everyone who works freelance in the arts and cultural sector, such as freelance technical workers, professional performers and things like that. So we are working with some other organisations. There's a list of charities on our website. We've given £4 million of our emergency response package to these, and we're calling it Benevolent Fund. So if you do a search for that, it should come up on our website. We've got an in-depth guidance document as well as an easy read and a BSL version, so give those a read before you apply. You'll also need to set up an applicant profile on our online application portal. If you don't already have one, that is. If you need help with that, get in touch with our customer services team. We've also got guidance on the website that should be able to help you out. And the portal opens for applications at midday on Thursday the 9th of April, and there'll be 2 rounds. Now the portal's going to be open for applications until the 30th of April. The first round will close at midday on the 16th. That gives us the time to kind of process the first applications. The second one will close at midday on the Thursday the 30th of April 2020. So you can only apply to one of these rounds, so don't rush an application for round 1 if you think you need more time. Take the time, submit it when you're ready. Right, let's have a look at the questions in the form. So as well as how much you're applying for, we will ask you 3 basic questions. So the first one is telling us about any work you've had cancelled or curtailed due to the COVID-19 emergency, and the income you've lost or costs you've incurred up to the value of £2,500. So like I said, this could be shows, exhibitions, it could be kind of pieces of work that you were contracted to write or to carry out. Now, we might ask for evidence of this later, so if you've got any contracts or any emails or any kind of correspondence that relates to the work you were going to carry out or the amount of money that you're going to be paid for it, then it's worth keeping hold of those. Also, just help you to kind of demonstrate the money that you've lost. Second one, tell us about your practice and your track record working in the publicly funded sector. So tell us what you do, what's your practice? Are you a writer, curator, producer? How would you describe your work? Are there any particular themes or genres or types of work that you do? And we also want you to tell us about any projects or work that you've done in the past that got money from bodies like the Arts Council, so other lottery funders, universities, local authorities, public sector bodies, trusts and foundations, etc. We want to hear what you've worked on, who you've worked with, what you did, who funded the work, and remember, you don't have to have been the grant holder for that work, so long as the work was publicly funded. So you might have been contracted by a person or organisation who'd received public funding. That's fine too. Tell us how you'll use the time this funding affords you to stabilise, think and plan for the future. So, think about what you're going to do whilst you're in lockdown or working from home, or however it is you're working, and then think about what you're going to do beyond that. Think about what you're going to do next. Think about how this time might help you to actually refocus what you do, or work in new ways, or plan for the next stage, plan for the next steps. If you had work that was being postponed, then you might be able to run that in the future. You're going to run it in a different way. How is this going to help you? Basically what we want to hear. And that's it. 3 questions. Text limit for each one is 1800 characters, which is about 300 words. You don't need to use it all, but try to be concise and as clear as possible. Best bit of advice I can give anybody who's applying to the Arts Council is try and be as clear as possible. Some people try to use very overly flowery language to impress us, but it doesn't actually make any sense. We want to know what you're doing, when, where, how. Just be clear. Use plain English as far as possible. So we've got a lot of applications to get through, and it makes it a lot easier. Now, one of the important things about this is you don't need any other sources of income to apply. There's no budget to fill in, so I think a lot of people will be happy about that. Once you click submit, your application will go to a decision meeting where it will be considered alongside other applications. We'll be hosting lots of these to get the decisions made really quickly and get the decisions out, and we'll start to let people know the outcome by the end of April. You get an email asking you to log in to find out your result. This is important. We expect this fund to be very, very popular, and as much as we want to fund everyone, we won't be able to support every application that we get. So think about what you might do if we can't fund your application. If you want to find out more, check out our website, artscouncil.org.uk/COVID-19, and our customer services team can also help you with the form or talk about ways in which we can help, including access support, if you do need some support to help with the guidance or putting an application. They'd be happy to help. Thanks for listening. Remember, stay home, stay safe, and if you've got any questions, get in touch. Cheers.